First off, we want to identify the elements that comprise sufficient appropriate documentation, because we hear the term sufficient appropriate audit evidence, but that audit evidence, if we just threw it in the garbage once we looked at it, that wouldn't do us any good because guess what? People need to come in, review our work, make sure that we actually did a proper audit. So we need sufficient appropriate evidence, documentation of that evidence in our work papers for an audit and non-audit engagement, as well as the assembly and retention of that documentation. We can't just immediately throw that out the next year or the year after that. We'll actually see the rules involving that, as well as how you should put together and structure all of this documentation. Lastly, and this is a point where it's not going to particularly talk about anything specific here, but think this as you go through. And this is something you may have heard if you've seen this in action in work, at an accounting firm, at a company. This is something your higher up would always tell you. Something I definitely heard starting out as a staff accountant. Prepare your documentation, in this case, prepare a work paper that is sufficient to enable an experienced auditor having no experience or connection with an audit or non-audit engagement to understand the nature, timing, extent, and the results of the procedures performed and the findings and conclusions reached. What that means, you want to make sure that your work paper, someone, obviously not just an accountant just starting out in their field, but someone who's been around the block, who's seen some audits before, seen some engagements. Now, this applies to even tax, any sort of engagement, anything you do in accounting. Someone should be able to pick up the work you did. You've got a list of procedures. You document what you did. Say, this was prepared by Nick Palazzolo. It was reviewed by someone else. Step one, I pulled the data from the bank statement. Then I uploaded it to the bank rec. Step 3, 4, 5, list those out, as well as using tick marks. All of those are going to be essential for properly documenting something. So again, guess what? There's high turnover in our auditing firms, as you also may be aware of. So we want to prepare documentation so that if someone gets hired next year, they're able to come in, understand what we did, and complete the engagement and utilize our work. Want a little bit of a background tangent there, but I think that was all very helpful. That being said, let's dive right into our material and have a great time. Hey there! Are you ready to not only pass your CPA exams, but truly understand and enjoy the material while studying? I know it seems impossible, right? Especially to enjoy the material? We'll do it together. Tap into the power of CPA.examprep.ai, where we've got personalized quizzes, multiple choice questions, memorization guides, flashcards, simulations, all tailored to your learning. Our adaptive study planning puts you on the fastest path to success and lifts you back up if you fall behind. Avoid wasting your precious time and money attempting an exam with a low chance of passing, because who wants that? We want to get you through this process as quick as possible. Our exam readiness prediction lets you walk in with confidence, knowing that you're prepared for success on exam day. Thankfully, there's no payment method needed to get started, so why don't you come join us? Visit cpa.examprep.ai and let's achieve your exam success together.